Hello creative friends, this is Joy coming to you with another art journal page. So this particular art journal page is a background that I did some time ago where I did a video on how to just do different backgrounds to get started, and I just haven't gone back and done anything with these pages. This particular page was one where I used gesso to watered down gesso to adhere some text pages to the page, and then I took some stencils and acrylic paints that I had and put some pattern on this particular page with a couple different colored acrylic paints. So I decided to take my watercolor paints and put some color on this background. So that's what I'm doing here, is just painting some blue paint on the background, as you can see. But I decide that I want it to, the background to be pushed more into the background. Because it seems to be standing out too much, so I grab some white acrylic paint and I water it down, and while the page is still wet, I kind of brush that on to try to tone down the background and push it more, into the background. But I decided I wanted to keep those hearts. I wanted those hearts to stand out, so I'm painting around those, careful not to paint over those. And if the acrylic paint is too thick, the white, then I just add a little bit more water to it, because I don't want it to completely cover it up. I just want it to tone it down some. And then I use a baby wipe to wipe away any areas where I think, it's too thick or too covered up. So once I get this background to where I'm happy with it, then I just grab my heat gun and I just give it a quick blast to dry it real quick. So once the page is mostly dried, I decided I wanted it darker, so I grabbed my watercolors again and add another layer of that blue on the background. So I really like the way that this page turned out. I ended up finding some different elements in my stash after I got the color on here and was happy with the background. And I made sure it was dry. I went through my stash and decided to decide on what elements I wanted to put on the page. This particular day, I really didn't feel like spending a whole lot of time on, something. I just wanted to do something quick and just have fun with the painting and the products that I had. And on those days, I'll just go through and find ephemera in my stash to use on an art journal page. And then, of course, other days when I have more time and I feel like being more creative, I'll spend more time to do something more, creative. And so this was a day where I just wanted to have some fun doing something creative without, spending too much time or giving it too much thought. So I used my extreme glue stick to glue these elements down, and as you can see, the title there that I chose for the page says, "Sometimes little things really do mean a lot." And then I found the girl with the umbrella in the rain, and it says, "Brighten rainy days." I was going to cut that off, but then I decided I liked it and it went with the page, so I decided to keep it. The little quote to the left on the left of the journal page says, "Everyone can do simple things to make a difference, and every little bit really does count." And then the longer quote says, "One little thing can make all the difference. One chance on yourself is all it takes to set your future in motion. One step forward is all it takes to start yourself on the right path. One positive thought a day is all it takes to keep you going, and one dream is all it takes to succeed." So I thought that was kind of cool. And then here she had some writing on the sleeve of her sweater, so I grabbed some purple and some black and tried to match the colors of the sweater as best I could so I could paint over it and cover that up. So that's what I'm doing here, is just adding a little bit of paint to cover up the text that was running across her sweater. And then I decided I didn't like the white background on the title, so I grabbed my watercolor paints again and paint over the title so that the background will be blue. I guess I could have made it some other color, but I just wanted to make it the same blue as the background itself, and then I give that a quick dry. Then I grabbed my Posca pens and decided it's a blue one, and decided to trace around everything. And on these hearts I wanted to make them a little bit fancier, so I go trace around them, but then I add like little scallops. In this one I'm adding like a little ruffle to it, and then the other one I just add circles, like bigger, larger circles and smaller circles to it, just to kind of make these hearts a little bit fancier. Really like the way the page turned out. It turned out really cute. As you can see, you know, it's it's a page about you know, just I guess believing in yourself, and you know, realizing that sometimes, you know, it just takes one little thing to kind of get you going in the right direction again. So I really like the quotes on this page, and you know what the page is about. I kind of like to do that on a lot of my journal pages. Try to find a quote to add to the page and kind of give it a little bit more, I guess, meaning. So I'm continuing to use my Posca pen just to trace around everything. And I actually kind of messed up on when I was tracing around that first title, and so I kind of, this is where you cover up mistakes. I thickened up the bottom on the line on the bottom of it, and so I did that on all of them, so it looks like it was done on purpose. I just made the bottom, across the bottom, a little bit thicker, because on the first one I had to make it thicker to kind of correct where I messed up. And then I trace around this girl in the rain. With the Posca pen. So after I get traced around everything, I decided that left-hand corner there needed something. And I thought, well, the flowers on that one quote are kind of cool, so maybe I'll try to, you know, do a little painting of some flowers that are kind of similar to that. So I grabbed my acrylic paint and I put some paints out. So I use like a burgundy for the center of the flower, and I use like a rose for the petals, and then I add pink to the tips to kind of for the highlights of the flowers. So that's what I'm doing here. Just quickly doing a painting of some flowers on this page. And there you can see to the right what I'm, you know, kind of not really duplicating, but that, you know, is inspiring this little painting on the art journal page. So when I'm doing this, I'm also thinking about, you know, how many flowers I want to add, how far do I want to go, where do I want to put them. I really like doing, you know, these art journal pages and being creative and stuff, because it certainly helps you, you know, just kind of relax, have fun, and not really think about all the other things that's going on. Definitely helps with the stress level, and it's fun. I've always enjoyed being creative, and for many, many years I wasn't really able to, because, you know, life happens and you just get to where it's all you can do just to work and raise your kids and survive. So now that things have somewhat calmed down, my kids are grown, so that's one thing, and I'm, you know, finished school, so I don't have to worry about coming home after work trying to do schoolwork and whatnot. So I've been really having a lot of fun getting back into being creative and doing some creative things, which when I was younger, I used to love to draw animals, and then I got into painting as a teenager, and only when I was starting to try to get back into doing more creative stuff did I discover art journaling, and I just have not. I've been having the time of my life and just haven't quit since. So much fun. So I decided that these flowers needed some green. I decided 4 was good enough. So I used a dark green around the flowers, and then I'm using this lighter green to add, I guess it's grass that they're in. I'm not sure what they're in. I think they're in grass, to put this grass or whatever around them. Then once I get that, and here I guess I decided that petals need a little bit more pink highlight. So once I do all that, I noticed that in the picture there's like these, I don't know if it's flower buds or berries or what it is. So I decided to put some of those on the little painting here. So I put those around in the grass and on the tips of the blades, if that's what that is. And I decided that was good enough, so I dried that really quickly, and then I grabbed some paper and put it behind the pages, and then my splatter board to kind of keep from splattering everything on my desk, and put out some white acrylic paint and got it really, really wet with a fan brush, and then tapped it against another paintbrush to put splatters on this page to, give it the look of rain or raindrops. And then I used a tissue or a baby wipe to wipe away where it was a little too heavy or too much. So after I finished this up, I used my blue Posca pen to do a border around it, and that pretty much completes the page for today. So I appreciate you guys stopping by and watching. If you like this video, you can give it a thumbs up, or if you'd like to subscribe and see more, you can hit the subscribe button, or you can leave me a comment. I love to hear from you. And then here I go with the Posca pen, do a quick squiggly border around the whole page because it seemed like it needed that to finish up the page. And that's it for today. Thank you guys for stopping by. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.